Alright everybody, welcome to Marvel Rivals, and this video is going to be a conversational piece, a debate topic, and there's one common thread among these characters I'm about to name. Magneto, Emma Frost, Hela, Jean Grey, ignore the Lord icons, I swear I'm not a meta slave, Gambit, and Invisible Woman. Since their inception, they have been overpowered. Now, Invisible Woman has gotten buffs to make her more powerful. Emma's gotten a bit nerfed. But what I'm trying to say is... Bro! No! Report him! Report him now! Report him now! Report him now! I love Marvel Rivals, but I have a serious problem. They're balancing. Because when you look at this game, right? This game has everything you want. It has amazing IP, right? You have Marvel characters, which, no offense to Overwatch, but it's going to be hard to beat, playing as Spider-Man, playing as Wolverine, or your favorite Marvel characters, whoever they are, in comparison to original characters like Genji, Hanzo, etc., right? And this gameplay in the background is just for, the Subway Surfer attention span people who literally just cannot, just listen to someone talk for 30 minutes, which includes myself, so I don't even know why I'm talking shit. But basically, what I'm trying to say is, this game has everything. You have great characters, right? You have great skins, great cosmetics, a bunch of events, and ignore the lag as well. But you have a bunch of stuff in the game, a bunch of events. You get free currency all the time. You get a pretty, good amount of content, right? They're releasing a character per month now. They're releasing 2 skins per week. And honestly, you could say the cosmetics are pretty good. Then you have events where you get a legendary skin and 2 other skins for basically $10. You have these reaction icons, you have emotes, you have sprays. You get a bunch of stuff. You get VFX on your ultimates, sound effects on your moves. There's a bunch of stuff that this game offers you. But the biggest problem in this game is the balancing, okay? And I just had to come out of the woodworks because it has been literally maybe almost a year since I last uploaded a voiceless video. But man, after seeing these last patch notes and having a free time, I just was like, dude, I need to say something that only maybe 3 people will listen to. Okay, so let's start from the top, right? Let's start from the top. The balancing, right? That is the biggest problem in this game. So I'm gonna show you, right? Flats. He's a very popular YouTuber, right? A tier list from season 4. I'm pretty sure I found a season 3 somewhere. You will see the same people stay near the top all the time. And obviously, am I saying Flats is the one all and all of people, ranking tier lists? No. But this is general populace, right? Obviously, Flats is the top probably 5% of players in the game. But you're going to see a very consistent pattern going on. So let's see who's S tier. This is season 4. I thought I had season 3. There you go. Season 3. Okay. Season 3. Emma Frost, Mag, Groot, Psylocke, Jean Grey, Hela, Loki, Cloak and Dagger. Look who's at A tier. You have Strange, Punisher, Wolverine, Server Admin, Invis, right? That's going to kind of stay consistent, right? Then we go to season 4. Who's here again? You have Emma Frost, Strange. This poor thing got massacred. Jean Grey again. Moon Knight is back. Moon Knight is a problem now. Server Admin Bucky, Server Invisible Woman, and Luna Snow, who's an A tier. You have Magneto, Thor, Groot, Psylocke, Wolverine again, Cloak and Dagger. Hela B tier. This guy was lost. This guy's lost. I disagree. Okay, Hela B tier, right? Let's go to season 4.5. Who's here again? Emma Frost, Doctor Strange, Hela, Psylocke, Bucky, Invisible Woman again. Okay, who's an A tier? You have Jean Grey, Daredevil. This guy's on crack. How's Daredevil in season A as his release? I have no clue, but he's there, right? Star-Lord A, Moon Knight A, Cloak and Dagger A. Now you see, let's go again. Season 5. Here we go. Who's at the top again? Emma, Mag, Daredevil, Hawkeye, Hela, Psylocke, Gambit, Invisible Woman, Bucky, Jean Grey again A tier, Moon Knight A tier, Star-Lord A tier, Wolverine A tier. Let's go again. Season 5.5. Magneto, Emma, Daredevil, Hela, Psylocke, Star-Lord, Gambit, Invis, Jean Grey, Wolverine, Bucky, Loki. Let's go one more time. Season 6. You have Gambit on top of the vibe check. Groot, Strange, Mag, Jean Grey, Hawkeye, Invisible Woman, Loki, Hela. A tier, Emma Frost, Thor. Thor's broken right now. Star-Lord, Daredevil, Wolverine, Bucky. Right? Again, he's not the end-all be-all, right? again, he might think of the game from a different perspective because he's a top 5% player, and I'm probably, I'd say, above average, probably average player, right? I have a job. This is not my full-time thing. I don't play the game all the time. I'd say I'm above the middle ranks of gold. Like, I'm diamond currently, so that's probably where I float around. You know, whatever, that's piss elo for you guys. Sorry that I can't have an opinion. But the balance of this game is horrible because they just don't change the meta at all. There's some things that they do change, right? Like, Emma Frost was absolutely broken on release, right? And they kind of nerfed her bit by bit to make her somewhat playable. But she's still annoying as fuck to deal with. Nothing close to as before. But as you saw, from Season 3 basically to Season 6, she was S tier. Besides Season 6, she got A tier because of all the nerfs, right? And that's that they buffed her left click. So she might now, Season 6.5, go back up to S tier depending on the meta, right? Hela has been S tier since Season 1. I just didn't want to find all those tier lists. But that character, actually, speaking of, I'm not a meta slave, I promise. This character can still 2-tap people across the entire map. Across the entire map. It doesn't make sense. But what do they do with this character? Not only, when they nerfed her, okay, they nerfed her left click, the drop off range. They're like, let's actually revert it back to how it was. So they did it, okay? Then, okay, they buffed her Raven to give her overshield and the cast time even faster. And then they gave her more ammo on her left click. So a character who's been broken since Season 1 has gotten one nerf, which they reverted, and then buffs. How does that make sense? Okay, let's continue, right? Let's continue. Let's talk about Wolverine. I am a tank main, if you couldn't tell, right? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lords on tank. I play a lot of tank, right? That's my main role. So this guy right here is the spawn of Satan, okay? This guy is Lucifer. This guy's a bitch. So basically, what should we do, right? I don't know, that we could target walls. Okay, ignore that lag. I don't know how she ended up over there. Everyone just saw that, I hope. So let's try it again. I can aim at walls and then just grab you and do that to you. That is balanced indeed. Balanced indeed. Okay. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, they also lowered the cooldown for Feral Leap. They had nerfed it and then they brought it back down. Like, what? And then to top it all off, okay, they thought it was a good idea, okay, to make this terrorist get his ult even faster. And again, she ended up over there somehow. Okay, we are flying. Basically, this terrorist, okay, I think it was from 3,400 to 2,800. Now, he could get his ult even faster now. What is the logic? What is the logic? I genuinely do not understand. Is he the best tank buster in the game? Yes. But there's only 2 to choose from. And he's the best by default because Iron Fist cannot displace his enemies. Okay? But, so now you're giving him, okay, damage reduction. Basically, a dash, which I'm pretty sure has like a 4 to 6 second cooldown. Okay? With his ultimate, he's going to have ultimate uptime at least once every team fight because of how quick Wolverine does damage on tanks. Like, it is crazy to think about that they thought that was a good buff. They really thought that was a good buff. So now, let's go to Magneto, right? Because Magneto has been S tier, again, since his inception. All they have done, if I remember correctly, is nerf his ultimate charge, right? Like how long it takes for him to get it, okay? But this guy is still fucking broken. But he, unlike anyone else, might be a necessary evil. Because I cannot imagine a meta where it's just Venom, Cap, Hulk, and like just straight dive tanks being the meta. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that would probably be extremely toxic. Okay, it probably would. But him, honestly, having double shield to me is how it always should have been. But I cannot deny the substantial buff that was. Like, Mag was already always S tier to me, but that just made him the best tank in the game, in my opinion. Because his ult, as we all know, can basically kill almost any support ult in the game. It can also counter Star-Lord, it can counter Punisher, it can counter other DPS ults, but you mainly use it to kill support ults, right? Yes, you have to have good aim and timing when to use it to secure the kill, but still, Magneto has been fucking overpowered the entire lifespan of this game, and he might be the only character that I will excuse being overpowered the entire game, okay? Because it might be a necessary evil, to be honest, because no one wants to play against straight dive tanks. and a dive comp with no one to shield them from poke slop, which is the fucking meta, okay? Or to protect their supports with bubbles, okay? Mag might need to be a necessary evil of being very strong in this game, to be honest. Okay. Now, let's talk about Strange. I feel like Strange is a character who, obviously, in the early seasons, he was ridiculously strong, okay? Ridiculously strong. Then, in the mid-part life of the game so far, he became pretty weak. I'll say B tier, C tier. You kind of didn't see him much. And now, he's back up to being extremely good. But I don't find Strange being extremely oppressive, if that makes sense. I really don't. Like, again, that might be me, might be a bot take, I don't know. Strange is extremely strong, but I think he's also fair, if that makes sense. Right? Like, I don't... Because you can burst down his shield, especially that they nerfed his shield. His ultimate has always been extremely good. Now the revert of the E, which is his Maelstrom of Madness, right? The revert of the damage multiplier from 1.0, how they had nerfed it back to now, makes him really strong to kill through support ult. But again, I think that's good because supports are the strongest role in the game. I feel like that's pretty fair to say, right? So I think Strange, even though he's extremely strong, is not like super oppressive. I think the most oppressive, like OP characters in the game that like really question the balancing is the DPS and the supports. I think the tanks are in a pretty good spot. Obviously, some need help, like Hulk, like Penny, because Penny's pretty useless, to be honest. You could say Rogue might need a couple buffs here and there, but I would honestly say the tanks are pretty balanced, more than anything. Is that definitely bias speaking? Maybe. Do I think Thor might be a little overtuned? I do. Thor, you know, the agenda of saying he's a D tier might have been a little too much, bro, because that is, I mean, to be honest, it's a great change. I really do like the ability to displace enemies like this, but that's really strong. But they nerfed his survivability just a little bit. You know, it kind of makes up for it, and his ultimate isn't like amazing, right? So even though yes, he can displace almost infinitely, ignore the lag again. He can displace basically almost infinitely. His survivability suffers into a poke comp, right? And his ult isn't as strong. So like that's kind of the nerf, right? To stop him from being absolutely broken, which then I would call that balancing needs to happen, right? So Thor is getting there if he gets any more micro buffs. They need to stop buffing Thor. Like, he's in a good spot right now. He can't be good at everything, okay? But overall, tanks, I'd say, are kind of balanced. Now, a tank who got a buff, and I love that I think the buff was not deserved at all, was Venom. To me, Venom was already in a good spot. Him getting 25 more health when he already had the second most health in the game, I literally do not understand the thought process. And then his ultimate, they made it so that he gets 1.3 conversion of the health done instead of just, like, I think it was 1.0 or 1.1, something like that. They buffed the health conversion. Why? It already applied 30% anti-heal and did percentage-based damage. So now you get even more health to stay in the fight even longer. Like, I don't know. I just thought that was such a weird change. Because, I mean, maybe the Venom community is going to get on me. But I didn't see anyone clamoring for changes, okay? I didn't think Venom needed a change. I thought Venom was kind of fine where he was. I think the tanks who need the buffs are Hulk. Again, maybe biased, but Hulk. Maybe you give some buffs to Rogue. Maybe some buff to Tank Deadpool. Penny Parker might need some help. You know, like, Thing, some survivability. Cap. I think Cap is strong. I know people are going to, like, hate on that, but I think Cap is in a good spot right now. That's the least unbalanced role. There's definitely still some unbalanced parts about it. Mag is still pretty unbalanced. Strong since his inception. Thor, stop buffing him. Strange, I think, is in a good spot. I think any more buffs would take him into a territory that's ridiculous. Emma is toned down a bit. And then Groot. I think Groot is extremely strong. Groot is extremely strong because of all these walls, etc. But I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and say I play Groot. Groot is strong and annoying to play against. A good Groot will cut you off from healing. A good Groot will block passageways and be extremely toxic and annoying. A good Groot is very hard to kill, does a lot of damage, and has a very good ultimate that could kill through support ults. And he could combo with Moon Knight with Namor to kill through support ults. So this character is extremely strong, but I don't see like lowering the health or the damage on his walls maybe would be the best way to somewhat tone him down. But I also think, like, into a poke slop meta, which it currently is, right? Where you have Hawkeye, Jean Grey, and Hela, like, I think it's fine to have a character like this to kind of balance that out, to block their passage, basically, of shooting. And the CC immunity on this wall, though, is kind of stupid, to be honest. But when I play Wolverine, right, I just have my DPSs, I'm like, look, focus this wall, because most Groots are just putting it, like, here. Like, they just put it there, and then they'll just play here, right? So I'll just be like, okay, look, just come from the side, burst it out, and then they're going to pick it up, and then once they do that, I'm able to kill them. So I still think Groot is pretty stupid. He's pretty strong. Maybe you could say you could tone down the amount of health he gets from his walls. You could lower the health of this wall or take out the CC immunity. But without the CC immunity, he's just a Wolverine victim, and that's not fun to play as, or play against. I'm sorry, it's very fun to play Wolverine and to basically terrorize a group. But so let's talk about supports, bro, because supports are ridiculous, and this guy is the start. This guy's the start. I mean, this character's ult just literally lets you W key into the enemy team. It gives you damage. I feel like, bro, I feel like it gives you, besides movement boost, I feel like it gives you a damage buff. I don't know if it literally says it does, but let me see. Kinetic buff, jump boost, movement speed, while enhancing attacks with additional single target explosive damage, and alt charge acceleration. Like, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? Oh, it also heals you too. So, like, it gives you movement boost, damage boost, alt charge, and healing as well. Like, what is this thing thinking, bro? That all needs to be nerfed. Okay, it needs to be nerfed. This character is stupid strong, and he still, even though they nerfed the charge on his ultimate, he still gets it way too fast. He still gets it way too fast. It's stupid. It really is dumb. Okay. Next, Invisible Woman. Okay. Invisible Woman last season was an absolute demon. An absolute demon. And they have done some pretty decent nerfs. Okay. Nothing that I'll say like will change her from being probably like a top 3 support in the game. But they did try. Right? They nerfed her the cooldown on the push and the pull. I'm pretty sure they increased it by 2 seconds. I'm pretty sure. I may be talking about my ass. I don't know. Right? That's a pretty good nerf. This, I don't even know what that's called. Let's see. Psionic Vortex. Basically, when the spell cast is done, it's at a 6 or 8 second cooldown, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's 8 second cooldown. That needs to be nerfed. Okay. I'm fine with the duration of it. Let's see. I'm pretty sure it lasts for 4 seconds, so it's really 8 second cooldown. Okay, so it's an 8 second cooldown. Make it a 10 second cooldown. Make it an actual 12 second cooldown. Because that thing charges all way too fast. Shield is the biggest problem. The shield is the biggest problem. They already nerfed the health from 250 to 200, and they nerfed the healing that Invisible Woman herself gets. But the problem is that this shield has too little of a cooldown. This shield can stop ultimates. I know this character is known for barriers. Like, I'm not gonna like sit here and say she doesn't need it, like, or doesn't deserve a shield. But just the cooldown on it, look at that, it's 2 seconds, and it's crazy. Look how quick it heals. Like, I don't know. I think the shield is way too quick on a cooldown, and the fact that she could just put it on herself like that, like what is that, a second of the delay, you know, and then it's also healing, right? So you have 3 ways to escape on this character. 1, 2, and then you have your own shield. 3. I don't get it. And honestly, having supports this strong has basically turned the game into a like survivability meta and poke slot meta, because again, the balancing never changes. The same characters are meta every single season. But I mean, the supports are so good. Like, if you're not running like a certain support, you have to run triple support to counter triple support. Or if you want to play Ultron or Atom or Mantis, you usually have to play another 2 supports, because that's just how normal ranked is. So then you're just in a sloppy ass 30-minute game that just feels like shit to play for everybody. Okay, Jeff got changes, and I'll say his changes are okay. Deadpool support, no words. Genuinely no words. No, use it. Let's see. So it's on a 45-second cooldown, but let's see when it actually ends. Okay, this is without getting the extension, by the way. This is without getting the extension. The ultimate ends with 30-second cooldown. With the extension, let's say it gets up to 33. Like, that is dumb. That is dumb. And then that's not talking about all his other abilities. I think Cloak and Dagger is okay, like balance-wise. I don't think it's crazy. I do like the change, or at least it makes her a lot stronger that you can do that double, and there's no cooldown in between it. Because I don't really see a reason to ever use the healing cape, to be honest, because this is just so good. It is generally so good. Kind of makes her overpowered, I'd say, and usually because Gambit and Invis are gone, Cloak and Dagger is the go-to support. They're nerfing the wrong things with Loki. Like, honestly, the ammo count is not the problem. And Loki kind of suffers because good supports, or broken supports, basically mean Loki's going to be good just because he can copy their ultimate. That's why Loki Gambit is literally just cancer. Right? But Loki's biggest problem is that this ability is on a cooldown that's basically 25 seconds, while Adam Warlock's ability is like on a 45-second cooldown. And I play Loki, I'm a Lord Loki, I love Loki, but let's call a spade a spade. This person's overpowered. He also gets ult extremely fast. I know they've nerfed like the ult charge of basically every support, but because they nerfed every single support's ult charge, it's like, it's kind of how it was. It just takes a bit longer for all of them. So it doesn't really change anything, at least in my opinion. Loki still does good damage, especially if you're aiming at them, right? Instead of just doing this, like just hitting the floor. If you aim, you basically do the pre-nerf healing and damage. Warlock new fire ability, but they didn't change Adam Warlock's biggest problem, which was his healing uptime. That's the problem with Adam. Like, yes, was he easily diveable, right? And getting this fire ability will help him 100%. But people didn't play Adam Warlock because he just doesn't heal enough. Like, that's the problem. That is the problem. He doesn't heal enough. Ultron getting a buff was nice. Raccoon getting a nerf, I kind of didn't understand why. Even though I hate playing against Raccoon, I didn't understand why. And then Luna Snow is not meta for one season, and then they just give her a 10% damage buff and self-healing and that snowball moving faster than the Flash. I just don't understand it. I generally don't understand it. I don't want this video to be forever, but it's just to get across, like, these characters have been meta since the game began. The characters who have not been meta just don't get any buffs, right? Storm was meta, got nerfed, and just now she got changed. Black Widow's been horrible. Scarlet Witch has been horrible. Torch was server admin, okay? And then basically I got gutted, hasn't been touched. Blade? Bro, is Blade even in the game? Like, generally, is Blade even in the game? Black Panther got shot behind the shed. Mr. Fantastic, you run into one every, like, 50 games. Iron Man, the same thing. Moon Knight, fuck you. Like, generally, like, these characters have been the same. And then the biggest problem is that you have to face them in ranked. Because there's only 4 bans, and then sometimes you double ban Gambit. So now you have to play into Jean Grey, you have to play into Hela, you have to play into Bucky, you have to play into Daredevil. And that's that they nerfed Daredevil a bit. Hawkeye's running rampant, Moon Knight's running rampant. Like, and then they buff Squirrel. And I don't give a fuck how bronze of a take this is. Squirrel is fucking stupid, okay? No Acorn should be able to do 110 damage. That is stupid. And I fucking hate it that they keep giving her buffs. I don't get it, bro. Fuck that character. Like Hela, Jean Grey, I don't care that they're strong. I just care that it hasn't changed since they've been in the game. So it just feels like you're playing the same thing over and over and over. Like, people who want to play Black Panther, they literally cannot. They cannot. They're throwing the game if they do it. People who want to play Black Widow, if you like that playstyle, I guess, for some reason, you literally can't, or you're throwing. Alright, as Zaza. Like, it's just like, it just baffles the mind that people cry out for nerfs, and then they just buff the characters that are already pretty widely considered at least A or S tier. It might have been the Wolverine buff to really push me over the edge, because I'm a tank main, and just seeing that just like actually gave me an aneurysm. Like I could not be seeing that correctly. And I think they did the same thing for the Punisher after buffing the Punisher the season before. Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm not saying the Punisher is broken or anything, but why are you buffing his left click? Why? And then you buff his ultimate so he gets it even faster? Like, what? Why? It's like they're buffing even more poke slop. Then they buffed Namor, which was okay, because Namor without team up was kind of like an afterthought. He was like, whatever. But bro, look at all the characters that are strong, right? Jean Grey. Oh, Hela. Jean Grey. Hawkeye. Bucky. Punisher. Moon Knight. They're all range poke slop characters. Obviously, Daredevil is kind of an exception. Daredevil can still run a lobby, but he's not as oppressive as before. But all these other DPSs, Star-Lord is brain dead. okay? And the fact that they nerfed the charge that it takes to get his ultimate, when his ultimate is literally a win now button. Again, don't get me started, okay? And that guy farms all charge with his da 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 da. It's so stupid. It's generally dumb. Okay, but basically all that to say is that these characters have been meta for at least 4 seasons, at least. And it's just very frustrating as a casual player to come home and have to play the same characters every game. Like, let's say I want to play Hulk, right? But if the enemy is running Bucky, Jean Grey, Invisible Woman, and Gambit, and then let's say, I don't know, let's say Emma Frost, like, who's gonna play Hulk into that, bro? I'm sorry, maybe I'm not the top 1 Hulk, but that is actual AIDS to go against, bro. No one's gonna want to go against that, okay? And so the only characters you can really play into that, at least for me, to feel comfortable is Mag, Strange. You're like defaulting onto the same tanks every game, right? Because that's, you need a shield tank to really counter that poke slot, bro. At least for me, right? It may be a skill issue. It really may be a skill issue. And sometimes I like playing dive into poke slop, but I need a team comp to like strengthen that, right? I can't just be jumping in solo with a Hulk, right? And then I have, you know, my other poke slop characters. Let's say I have a Hela and Jean Grey on my team, not doing shit. So I'm just diving into a Jean Grey and Bucky, and I'm getting fucking molested. I'm jumping into Invis, she's pushing me away, then Gambit's hitting me with an anti-buff, then Moon Knight hits me with an Onk, so it cancels my jump, and then I just get fisted in my ass. And that's just how it's been. that's just how it's been, bro, for real. You know? So, that kind of ends my rant. I know, like, I probably sound like a crybaby or something, but just generally, I am so tired of the balancing of this game, because I really do love this game. This game has, again, everything you ask for. They're honestly a really good dev team. They respond to stuff like sometimes that nerfs that needed to be done with like Jean Grey and Wolverine's team up. That got nerfed immediately. You know, you have a problem with a cosmetic like Luna's glasses on her legendary. They changed it. You know, they respond fast to changes. They give a lot of cosmetics, a bunch of updates, a bunch of events, a bunch of free currency. But the balancing of this game will be the thing that kills it. Besides the player base that's always toxic for some reason. It's literally the balance, because it literally just feels like you're playing the same game over and over again, and you're playing the same characters over and over again, and if you're not playing these characters, if you're trying to climb, you're just throwing the game. Like, even though there's 48 characters on the roster, it really only feels like you could play 20 of them. And that is a travesty, in my opinion. Like, honestly. So, yeah, basically, that's the end of my rant. Hopefully, someone stuck around to the end to just listen to me talk. And if you guys want to hear what my opinions would be to change these characters, I guess let me know down below. That could be another video, like in the next year. In the next year, when my yearly upload schedule. I'm tired of playing the same solo tank over and over and over again. I'm tired of playing into triple support over and over again. I'm tired of playing into the same 8 DPSs over and over again. The balancing needs to change. It really does. It really needs to change. I think that could be a really big problem with this game. If they don't address that, you know, or give other characters time in the sun, I don't think this game will ever die. The player base is just too big. The IP is too big, and the content that they keep feeding us is like too much for it to like truthfully die. But the graces that this game has on its audience will definitely be lessened because of the ability or the inability to play the characters that they love. So that's it for me. Like I said, for the 4th time, I feel this is the end of my rant. Let me know if you guys want to see a video of me explaining buffs and nerfs that I'll do for each character. And hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.